going to stop there? Are you going to stay on top of mountain?
No.
No. So they were like, that's the quickest way back. He said that, like, let's go back. And they were triumphant. They felt victorious. Yeah. Triumph means victory. They felt victorious. Why? Because they saw everything. They are not weak. They are not stupid. They, they knew exactly where they were, and they feel like domination. They feel leaders. They were lifted up. They were friends. Remember, this one is very, very important. Remember this one. At that moment, they were happy. They were victorious. They were dominating. They were friends at that moment. He said that there's no village smoke, no boats. Ralph said wisely. So Ralph was smart. He said, look around you. We don't see any smoke, any chimney, any villages, any boats. So it means this, we will make sure later, but I think this is uninhabited. Uninhabited means empty, like abandoned. Like nobody lives here and nobody had ever lived here. This island is in the middle of the ocean, but nobody ever lived there. Yeah, no, like nobody, no, not one, not even one. So he said that we will get food, cried Jack. Hunt, catch things until they feed us. He said that, what would you do? Okay, then we're going to make food, we're going to get food, we're going to have hunt. Like if you count every time you read the word hunt, you will see most speaking it's said by Jack. Hunt. So what do you think? What should hunter have? Hunters. What should hunters have? Like in order to be a hunter, what should you do? What can you do? What can you do?
They should have gear so they can catch animals.
Yeah, very good. And even before tools, you should have what? A dead heart, right? A dead heart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, most
Right,
speaking.
yes.
Yeah, right. Like in order to kill animals, like now they would like to kill. Like he keeps saying hunt, 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 hunt. So it means that you don't have this kind of mercy to like to leave an animal alone. You would like to kill the animal, slaughter him, slaughter it, and eat it. So this is civilized or savage?
Savage.
Savage. So remember, Jack represents everything against civilization. Like this is primitive, primitive. Like people at the beginning, they had to kill animals in order to live. You have to kill in order to survive. So this is not civilized. It is not in any civilized society. Yes, honey.
Or they, if I were them, I would catch animals, but make a small farm with them.
Yeah, it's true. You can just, but what if you have no animals? I mean, like, what animals that you catch? Like, yes, it's a good idea. Like, this is what Ralph was thinking about. But sometimes
Because
it's,
animals will not last for a long time.
yes, very good. Like, you need to make a farm so that you can have extra animals and you would be settled down. You have enough food for everyone. But if you start killing them, like for sure, like you might stop. Like, if nobody comes, how could you eat? So they would like fight in order to eat, right? Very good. So we will see what will they do. But Jackie said that hunt catch things until they fetch us. Fetch? What does fetch mean? Lena, fetch. What does fetch mean?
Rescue us?
Fetch, yeah, in this we can say rescue, but fetch means to go and bring someone. You see, fetch, if I said that Amr fetch your bag, it seems that you have to go a place, bring your bag and come back. This is fetch. Going, bringing, and coming back. This is fetch. So it seems that until they come to us, they rescue us. So Simon looked at them both, saying nothing but nodding until the black hair flopped, and then Simon said, Steebird, the Jack, Mad Ralph, a cupping. Yeah, Ralph will make this gesture a lot. Cupping gesture. I'd like you to Google it and tell me what does it mean. Cupping gesture. Like like to make your hands, like your palm the same as a cup. You know this one when you make your hands the same as a cup, cupping gesture. If
Yeah.
you like to drink, like let's now that you'd like to drink water from a stream, from a river, what do you do? When you drink water from a river, you turn your palm into a cup, right? In order to be able to collect water, right? So Ralph always makes this kind of gesture. He
I
always
Google it, teacher. It's mean يعني like you make your hand like a cup.
Yes, very good, mashallah, real fast, very good. So we will see like Ralph always makes this one. And Ralph also are going to see what Jack does. He did something at up, but I forgot to tell you about. Like, I'm going to tell you what will he do. But like here, see, just, when Biggie said, I'd like to come with you,
Yes.
yes. What did Jack do? He said that, no, we don't want you. And he did
We
something
don't
here, I
want
think.
it, yes.
Yes. And then he did something like here, like here, just a second. Where is it? I hope it's here. And Yes, yes, you see that? Jack, I forget about this one, but this Jack is going to do this one all the time. Jack snatched from behind him a sizable cheese knife. What did Jack do? Like when Biggie said, I'd like to come, Jack at that moment, he snatched a knife from him. Like, he had a knife. Yes, and clouted it into a trunk. Trunk? He had a knife and he put it into a tree. He clouted it into a trunk, into a tree.
Yes.
It tells us something about him, right? He's violent or not?
Violent, of
And
course.
and he kept threatening boys. So every time Jack will do that, he's going to do that at least 3 times today. At least 3 times. Whenever he felt like he would like to be a leader or he would like his word to be listened to, he took a knife and he put it in the truck in order to express his anger and just in order to dominate. Now we were here, yes. So here we said that all hours, and like as I told you, Ralph spread his arms all hours. He felt happy, like everything here is ours. And then Simon said, "I'm hungry." Yeah, Simon was the youngest one of them. Like out of in the three, he was the youngest, and he was also diseased. He has epilepsy. He was hungry. Both of them were hungry. He says that we found out what we want to know. Like, come on, he said that we'll see that. They scrambled down, they went down, and they dropped among flowers and made their way under the trees. Here they paused and examined the bushes around them curiously. Simon spoke first, like candles. Now the everything was amazing. He said that like candles, like the trees looked like candles, candle bushes, candle buds. And Ralph, what did Ralph did? What did Ralph did? Jack, sorry, what did Jack did? Jack slashed at one of his with his knife. He cut some of them with his knife and spilled over them, and the scent spilled over them. So you couldn't light them, said Ralph. They just look like candles. So like Jack is violent. He started cutting trees and he started cutting flowers and cutting plants for no reason. Ralph told them you couldn't light them. They just look like candles, but you can't light them. Ralph thought that he cut them in order to light them as candles, to create light for them at darkness, during night, at night. But they weren't like he
Can
said that
eat
it
them.
just yeah, but he said that green candle, Jack, green. So green means vegetables. Jack loved the blood and he loved the killing and he loved the animal more than green plants. So he said that we can't eat them. Come on. Green candles, we can't eat them. Usually speaking, you can eat them. If they're not poisonous, you can eat them. When Prophet Muhammad was alive and they didn't have any food, like companions used to eat the leaves of trees. So it's
Yes.
okay.
لما
But
حبسوه في
yes,
الثلاجة.
yeah, it's true. But Jack, he didn't like eating vegetables and he loved eating meat. He loved killing and he loved hunting. He said that we can't eat them. So they just agreed. So anyway, while they were moving, they found a piglet. A pig? A pig,
Yeah,
an animal. They found a pig. So what do you think Jack will do?
Hunt.
hunt
Hunt. Did he hunt him? Did he hunt him?
No.
He didn't hunt him, so he couldn't hunt him. And like despite the fact that the piglet was already trapped, the pig was already trapped, and he couldn't move the pig, and he had a very big good chance to kill him. You see, so Jack was like, this is the place. Jack's face was white under the freckles. He noticed that he still held the knife. Jack was carrying the knife aloft. He was carrying the knife, and he raised it up. He raised it up, but instead of killing him, he didn't kill it. He didn't kill it. He was afraid of killing him. He was afraid of killing him. Yeah, he drew his knife again and over again with a flourish. He raised his arm in the air. Now, I'd like you to imagine this one, an animal and Jack raising his knife on the air. Rolf and Simon are looking at him, but as they were waiting for Jack to kill him, but Jack couldn't kill him. Jack couldn't kill it. Couldn't kill it. You see this one? So his arm down and the blade is, so he couldn't kill it. And the piglet, the pig ran away. You see? So the three laughed ashamedly and began to climb back to the track. The three of them laughed ashamedly. They know that they were very strong, but none of them was strong enough to kill an animal. So the three of them were laughing, but they were ashamed of themselves. Who was the one who was ashamed the most?
Jack.
Jack. And he said that, and he justified himself saying, what did he say to justify himself? He said,
He was building a place.
Yeah, a place in the
Um,
animal to kill him. Yes, I was just waiting for a movement to decide where to stab him. To stab someone, to kill him with a knife. He said that no, I was able to kill him, but I was just waiting to know exactly which place I should stab him in. Ralph said firstly, no, you should stick a pig, like anywhere. They always talk about sticking a pig, like you could just stick him, like stab him anywhere. You cut a pig's throat to let the blood out. Jack said no. It's wrong. You should have cut the pig's throat in order. Do you know, like in Islam, what should we do in Islam when we slaughter animals? What should we do?
Cut the pig's throat.
Yes, why?
Because we can't eat it.
Yeah, because like, do you know, Lena?
And also animals would sometimes still be alive after they get stabbed.
Yeah, yeah, very good. It's well, in Islam, Muslims are supposed to slaughter animals by cutting their neck, right? And they, like, in order all the blood goes out. Why? Because the blood carries all the waste in the body. So if we ate an animal with all its blood, so it means all the animal's meat is not clean enough to eat. It carries all the viruses and diseases of this animal. But when we slaughter an animal and all the blood goes away, so it seems that the meat is clean and it doesn't contain any viruses, because all the blood that carries all viruses and all bacteria and so on is out right now. You understand that? So Jack was trying to justify himself. He said that you cut a pig's throat to let the blood out, otherwise you can't eat the meat. And then Ralph said, why didn't you? Yeah, he said that all of them knew why he didn't kill him. He didn't kill him because it was enormous, you know. I mean, like, they weren't able to kill a living animal. They couldn't kill that. Like, he couldn't cut into a living flesh. He couldn't kill a living animal. You understand that? He couldn't kill a living animal because of the unbearable blood. So at the beginning, remember, at the beginning of the story, like, even Jack couldn't kill any animals. You understand that? And now Jack, Jack said that I was going to, said Jack, he was ahead of them. And even Jack, moved in front of both of them. And he said that next time I will kill him. And then what? I snatched his knife back into its chest and slammed it into a tree again. He slammed his knife into a tree. So every time he felt angry, he slammed his knife into a tree trunk. And he said that next time there would be no mercy. He said that there would be no mercy. And I will kill him. Yes. And like now we imagine that now, next time if he saw an animal, he would kill him, because now he felt ashamed of himself. And now they moved towards the platform and the meeting. They had a meeting. So here we finished chapter 1. Now let's move to chapter 2. As I told, chapter 2 is like somehow much shorter than chapter 1. So here we have fire on the mountain. What does it mean, fire on the mountain? What does it mean? Yeah. So, and why? Why do you think they would like to have fire on the mountain? Why?
When they try to fire when they try to make fire, I think the fire will be on the mountain, and there is a big fire will happen.
Yeah. So fire creates smoke. So and they wanted to make a fire on the top of the mountain, so that whenever any plane or any ship passes by, they would be able to see the smoke. It would be able to see a smoke, and someone comes to to rescue them, right?
Yes.
Is it smart or not?
Smart, of course.
Smart, yes. So they decided to make fire on the mountain, but comes at the end of chapter 2. So here we have the three of them. They went down, and Ralph finished blowing the conch. Ralph again, he started blowing the conch, and the platform was crowded. All the children came again, but there were differences between this meeting and the one held in the morning. So in the morning they had a meeting, and now they had a meeting. So what was the difference? The choir, children now, they put their clothes on. The choir, notably less of a group, had discarded their clock, they took their clock off. They were a little bit close to each other right now. Ralph sat his left side, now we have this scene. Ralph was sitting on a fallen trunk, his left side to the sun, and his right left were most of the choir, the boys of the choir. The boys who were controlled by Jack, and the left, they were larger boys on his left, and before him, smaller children. Before him, it means in front of him, smaller children were squatted in the grass. Small children who were 6 years old. Now everyone was silent. Ralph was the leader. He lifted the conch, and he on his knees, and a sudden breeze scattered light over the platform. He was uncertain whether to stand up or to remain sitting. He didn't know, should he stand up or to stay sitting. He looked sideways to his left towards the passing walls. Biggie, and here we have Biggie, was sitting near but giving no help. So now Biggie was writing names and so on, but he didn't help him. Now Ralph said, well then, what do you expect Ralph to say? Ahmed, what do you expect Ralph to say?
I know what Ralph will say.
What did he say?
Ralph, of course, will say to him, make anything.
Yeah, what did he tell them to do? Yeah, like, you know, what did he tell them? What did they discover? He was frank. He told them what they saw on the top of the mountain. He said, like, you know, he was
Please.
fluently, he was able to speak fluently. He explained what he had to say. He passed a hand through his fair hair and spoke. He said, like, this is what he said. We're on a mountain. We are on a mountain, on an island, sorry. We've been on the mountain top and seen water all around. So it is an island. So don't think that we have any place that we can go on in order to go to a different city. No, it is an island. We're trapped in the sea. We saw no houses, no smoke, no footprints, no boats, no people. Where we are on an uninhabited island, abandoned island, with no other people except us. Immediately, Jack broke in. Jack immediately said, all the same, you need an army. Again, when it comes to blood, when it comes to hunting, it's Jack, right? Hunting pigs. He said that, but never mind, we're going to hunt pigs to eat. And then Ralph said, yes, there are pigs on the island. He saw animals because you can never have one animal on an island. If you see one animal, for sure there are others. You know, from where? Like an animal alone is not enough. So for sure, if you have one animal, it means for sure there are others. He said, all three of them tried to convey the sense of being living things struggling in the creepers. Creepers means plant. We saw, like he said, that we saw squealing, it broke away, it means it ran away. So the three of them, Ralph, Jack, and Simon, were describing like the pigs that they saw. So we saw an animal squealing. What does squealing means? Making sound. It broke out, it means it ran away. Before I could kill it. But next time, again, Jack, next time I will kill it with no mercy. Jack slammed his knife again at trunk. Like this is the third time, right? Right?
Right.
Every time he slammed his knife into a trunk, like you feel like it's psycho. Looked around challengingly. The meeting settled down again. So you see, said Rolf, you need hunters. We need hunters to get us meat. And another thing, he left his shop. Yeah, he said that we need hunters. This is number one. He said, like, you know, we need hunters, number one. Number two, he said that there aren't any grown-ups. There are no grown-ups. We shall have to look after ourselves. He said that no grown-ups here. So we should look after ourselves. And then he said another thing. We can't have everybody talking at once, like at school. He said that if you like to speak, hands up. Again, this is represents what?
A good leader.
Yes, a good leader and civilization, right?
Yes.
So in civilization, if you are civilized, you shouldn't speak without raising your hand up. At school, you shouldn't speak without, like, you know, taking a permission first. Like he said that, like, we can't have everybody talking at once. We will have to have hands up like at school. So then he held the conch before his face and glanced around the mouth. Then I'll give them, and he said that if you like to speak, raise your hand. I will give you the conch. The conch. Again, remember, the conch represents law and order. He said that conch, yes. He said that, yeah, I will give the conch to the next person to speak. He can hold it when he's speaking. So if everyone is holding the conch, it means everyone should keep silent to listen to that person. But, and he said that, and he won't be interrupted. Nobody should interrupt this person except by me. Like, so if you like to say anything, raise your hand. I will give you the conch. You should speak, and nobody at all should interrupt you except me. So, like now, Ralph represents civilization. Nobody should speak without permission. Nobody should speak without permission. Here, Jack was on his feet. He stood up. We will have rules. Jack said that we will have rules. And then lots of rules, Jack. And then if anyone breaks them, like he says that Jack, remember, he's bloody. He said, we're going to have rules. If anyone breaks them, what should we do? Like, you know, he would say that if you break the rules, you will be killed or you will be punished. So again, Jack is cruel and harsh. He is interested in killing people as well as animals. Remember that. But so far, he couldn't kill even an animal. He didn't have the courage to kill an animal. Ralph felt the conch and lifted from his lap, and Biggie, now Lena. Lena, it's your turn, Lena. Lena?
Yes.
Yes, honey. Now, finally, we saw Biggie. What did Biggie do here? What did Biggie do? Yes.
Biggie was standing.
Yes. And he wanted to have the conch. Yes.
And shouting died down.
Yes.
Then Jack looked at Ralph.
Yeah, Jack wanted Jack wanted to punish everyone. You see, so when Biggie stood up and he wanted to talk, Jack wanted to stop him, but Ralph smiled and patted the log. You know, patted the log. Do you know when I love this kind of movement. You know, when you sit down and you would like someone to sit next to you, so you pat the place like next to you, you pat it with your hand. You know, this kind of movement, like you ask this person to sit next to you.
Yes.
Yes. So Ralph did that. He smiled and patted the log, like for Jack to sit next to him. So Jack sat down, and what did to tell you that was Biggie, like, you know, amazed me when he did that. What did he do? Now, yes, Lena, what did Biggie do?
Biggie took off his glasses,
Yes.
wiped them in his shirt.
Yeah, always. He always, like, this is the movement of Biggie. So Jack always slammed his knife into the trunk, in a tree trunk, and Ralph made this kind of cupping gesture. And Biggie, all the time, he took off his glasses and he cleans them, you know, using his shirt or using anything next to him. And what did he say? Lena, what did Biggie say?
You're hindering Ralph.
Yes, what does hindering mean? Hindering, what does hindering mean?
Hindering?
Yes.
Make it difficult.
Yeah, hindering, yes, means stopping. You're impeding, you're preventing Ralph. You can't allow him. Like you said, you're hindering, you're impeding him, you're blocking him. So I thought that he hated Ralph. And I thought that even when he apologized, he felt okay. But like, you know, he's not a good friend anymore. Like from my point of view. But now he stood up to defend Ralph. Like he shouted, like he said, he stood up to not to say that, listen to me. He said that, listen to Ralph. You're hindering Ralph. You're not letting him go to the most important thing. Let him talk. Let him speak. You see, so Biggie was defending Ralph. And then he said that, who knows we're here? Like, you know, he asked Ralph, who knows we're here? Does anyone know that we're here? And then Ralph said, yeah, they knew at the airport. He said, the man with the trumpet, my dad. So everyone said something. Biggie put on his glasses. And again, Biggie, the sound of mind. What did he say? Lena, what did he say, Biggie?
Nobody knows we're here.
Yes, again, remember he said that to Ralph before, you know?
Perhaps
Yeah,
they
he
knew,
was, yes.
Perhaps they knew where we was going to, and perhaps not. But
Yeah.
they don't know where we are, because we never got there. He
Yes.
grabbed them for a moment, then he swayed and sat down.
Yes.
Ralph conch from his hat.
Yeah, so here, like Biggie, he took the conch, like Ralph gave him the conch to speak, and like Ralph made this rule: if anyone having the conch should speak, and nobody at all should interrupt him until he finishes. So like Biggie again told them, nobody knows we're here, like, you know. And remember, he was breathless, so it seems that his disease, he had asthma, so he needed a breath, like, you know, fresh air, and he needed to breathe well, and he didn't need someone to make him angry. He didn't need to run and so on. So he's breathless, like, you know, he's like, remember, he had this kind of disease. And he said that perhaps they know, but perhaps they not. We don't know. So he said that he swayed, and after saying that, he sat down, and Ralph took the conch from his hand. And then Ralph said, like, you know, that's what I'm going to say. Like I was about to say that when you all he gazed as like the plane was shot down in flame. Nobody knows where we're here. We may be here a long time. So Ralph said that that's exactly what I'd like to tell you. We might be here. We may stay here for a long time because all of them died and nobody knew that we were here. We are here. So everyone, like the silence was so complete, and even complete to the degrees that they could even hear the evenness of Biggie's breathing. You know, when someone faces difficulty in breathing, you know this one, like everyone was able to listen to hear the breathing of Biggie. They were very quiet. Now they started to be afraid. Like, really, we are on an island and nobody is there to help us, and you know, like no grown-ups and no smoke, no people, no boats, nothing. So what will we do? So they started to feel afraid. They started to feel a little bit afraid. Now it is not just a one-day journey anymore. Okay, so they said that the breezes that on the lagoon had chased their tails like kitten were finding their ways across the platform and into the forest. Ralph pushed back the tangle of fair hair that hung on his forehead. And so you may be here a long time. He said that. like decisively. You may be here for a long time. Nobody said anything. He grinned suddenly, but he smiled. He smiled. He said that don't be afraid, but this is a good island. Remember, it was a good island. We, Jack, he said, we, Jack, Simon, and me, this is something good. Why? It's polite. When you speak about other people, don't put yourself first. Don't say, I and my mom. No, it's wrong. You should say that my mom and I. My mom and I. Like you can say my friend and I. My friend and I. My sister and I. You shouldn't say I and my sister. No, my sister and I. We climbed, he said that we climbed the mountain. It's wizards. It's amazing. There is food and drink and rocks, blue flowers. Like, he wanted to refresh the air. Tell them, don't be afraid. This island is very good. It's ours. It's ours. And we have food, we have drink, we have everything. So there is no need to be afraid. Now, my question is, do you think it's realistic? To the three of you, do you think that this is really like, do you like, to make it in another word, like, do you like to stay on an island?
No.
Why not? The three of you, Lina, Amr, and Ahmed, would you like to stay on an island?
No,
No, yeah, no. Why no?
No.
because I
No.
will do not find anyone to talk with him,
Yes, very good. What else? Amr?
and I will not find. I think that will not be there animals that way, because
Excellent.
island is very rare to find animal there.
Excellent. And Amr, what about you, Amr? Would you like to stay on an island? And Lina, why not, Lina? Ahmed, give us 3 reasons. What about you, Lina? Why didn't you like to stay on an island?
Maybe I will feel lonely.
You feel boring? Yeah, you feel bored, sorry. Yes, what else? And lonely. Yeah, you said lonely. Sorry, honey. You feel lonely? Very good. What else?
And then we will not find food to eat, then we will die. يعني مش
لا لا بعد الشر. Yes, it's true, but just I'm not speaking about you in general. But just, yeah, you're right. Yes, Amr, you didn't say anything, Amr. Would you like to stay on an island? Yes or no?
No.
No, why not? Lena said because like she would feel lonely, and Ahmed said that because, like, he didn't have anyone to talk to, the same as Lena, but also because there are animals. What about you? What puts you off living on an island? Is it safe?
No.
Which kind of animals do you expect to find on an island?
Might find a snake, like find any
Yes.
dangerous animal.
Yes, very good. Snakes, poisonous
The
animals,
ants,
scorpions,
the
ants, termites,
spiders.
poisonous spiders, like, yeah, for sure. For sure. Believe it or not, there are some nowadays, not nowadays, like maybe 10 years ago, and even till now, they have some kind of documentary programs in which they ask people, like young men in their 30s or 40s, to stay on an island for like sometimes, and there was a competition. A man, he was like maybe 30 something years old, he started crying at night, and he was afraid because of bears, and he called them immediately, told them, I'm out of this competition, I don't like to continue at all. And the other one kept eating rats, rats. He stayed without food, and the only food that he could eat was just rats. He ate rats. And someone else, he started to, like, he went fishing, and he started to eat fish and so on. But believe it or not, if you watch this kind of documentaries, it is not as easy as it looks, and it is not as, like, fascinating as it looks. So when Ralph said it, like, no, don't worry, it's a good island. Who told you that it's a good island? He loved it because it looked like heaven. But yeah, it looked like heaven, but in fact it was hell, because there were a lot of animals there, right? Right? Yes. So, and even there are strangers, they don't know each other. And he said there is food and drink, but like they're not interested in eating vegetables. They would like to kill animals, and animals also have to defend themselves. So we will see. Then what happened here? Now Biggie partially recovered, pointed to the conch in Ralph's hands, and Jack and Simon fell silent. Ralph went on. While we're waiting, we can have a good time on this island. He said that we will be waiting for some time, and while we're waiting, we can have a good time on this island. And again, he gesticulated widely. It's like in a book. He said that's the same in the book. Treasure Island, like Coral Island. Like they said that, it's really good. Like, let's have a good time here and so on. Like he said that this is our island. Remember, again, Ralph, this is our island, like civilization. It's a good island until the grown-ups come here, and we will have fun. So here Ralph Ralph try to give the feeling that everything is okay. Like this island is good and it's ours. Like we can have a very good time. We can enjoy. We can have a lot of food and a lot of drink. And this one, Jack held out his hand for the conch. There is pigs. So every time you have blood, you have animals, you have hunting, there's Jack. There is pigs. There are pigs. He says there is food and bathing water in that little stream along there and everything. Didn't anyone find anything else? Like Jack started to say, like, hey, like everything is good. We're going to have food. You can have showers. You can eat meat, everything. Didn't you find anything else? And then he handed the conch back to Ralph and sat down. Apparently, no one found anything. But suddenly, they didn't find anything. But then something happened. What happened here? What happened here? Here, something happened. If you quickly tell me what happened here. Please, what happened?
You find the shrimp?
A shrimp? No, a boy. He was a shrimp of a boy. Like means he was like a very young boy, about 6 years old. Like here, like he said that. Jack said, did you find anything else? And then suddenly, older boys first noticed the child when he resisted. As a very young child wanted to say something, but he was afraid. And then we have a description of this boy. He was a shrimp of a boy, about 6 years old. One side of his face was blotted out by a mulberry-colored birthmark. He has a birthmark on his face. He stood now. This boy stood up, and he rapped out of the perpendicular by the first light of the publicity. He was like in public, speaking about in front of everyone. And then he was muttering and about to cry. He was saying something and he was about to cry. Usually speaking, why a 6-year-old child cries? Why?
When they became afraid.
Afraid, yeah, very good. Afraid of what? Then the other boys start whispering. Serious, they pushed him toward Ralph. They pushed him toward the leader, which is Ralph. And then Ralph, Ralph is very civilized. Now he's not bad at the beginning. He's really civilized. He said, all right, come on then, Tal, come on. What's wrong? The small boy looked in panic. He was afraid. The boy, like Ralph said, speak up. What makes you happy? What makes you afraid? The small boy held his hand to the conch and assembly shouted with laughter. They started to laugh at him because he was very young and he was very afraid. He was afraid. So they started laughing and the boy started to cry. Remember, he's just 6 years old. He's very young. So now Biggie shouted, let him have the conch. Like Biggie has this kind heart. He said, let him have it. Give him the conch. Let him speak. At last, Ralph introduced him to hold the shell, but the boy even started crying and he couldn't speak. So Biggie, the good boy, he knelt by the boy on one hand on the great shell, listening and interpreting to the assembly. So now we have both the boy was crying and all the others were laughing except the two, Ralph and Biggie. Ralph was pushing the boy to speak, and Biggie, sat next to the young boy. And he started talking, interpreting, saying whatever the boy wanted to say. So now, he said, the boy spoke, and Biggie said he wants to know what you're going to do about the snake. So here we have, Ralph said that it's a good island, and we have food, we have drink, and Jack said we are going to hunt, we're going to have enough food. But then we have this young boy crying, and he said, what are you going to do about the snake? The question is, what would you do? Here we have two different reactions. The reaction of Ralph and the reaction of Jack. What was the reaction of Ralph and what was the reaction of Jack? And later, or Lena, what was the reaction of Biggie? So let's start with Ralph. What was his reaction? You read it, right? Amr and Ahmed, you were, each one of you supposed to describe the reaction of one of the boys, Ralph and Jack. So what was the reaction of Jack and what was the reaction of Ralph, and which one of them was stronger? And Lena, if you know that, Lena also can say it.
Okay, teacher. Ralph was not, Jack was strong.
No. It wasn't fun. Like now here we have a crying boy and very young boys, some very young boys, other young boys, and the boy spoke up and he said there was a snake. So what was the reaction of Ralph as a leader?
Laughed.
He laughed, and then the other boys laughed with him. The small boy twisted further into it. The boy was afraid and even twisted further into himself. Tell us about the snake thing. Now he says it was a beastie, not only a snake, it's a beast, a huge beast. A snake thing ever so big? He saw it. Where? Like, you know, these are the boys talking in the woods. Like, so here we have the reaction of Wolf, like, sorry, the reaction of Ralph. You see that you couldn't have a beastie. Ralph said that. You couldn't have a beastie. A snake thing on an island this size? Ralph explained kindly, you only get them in big countries like Africa or India. I told them, no, don't be afraid. There are no snakes here on this island. Snakes, like huge snakes, exist only in big countries like Africa or India. Like the question is, Africa is a country? Is a country? Is Africa
No.
is a country? Is a continent?
Continent.
Continent. So Ralph wasn't like, you know, he wasn't sure. Like, you know, it seems that he didn't know. Like, he seems like someone who understands everything, but reality was not. He didn't understand everything, simply because islands like snakes exist everywhere, even in islands, small snakes. Well, why? Like, you know, why not? And he said that, like, you can go them in countries like Africa. Africa is not a country; it's a continent. And then he said that. So the reaction of Ralph insisted there were no snakes. He insisted there were no snakes at all. There were no beasties. He says that on the island, you can never find any snakes. He kept denying it. So he said that, so he kept like convincing the boy. He convinced the boy that it was just a nightmare. He was hallucinating, you know? Like, he said that the boy was just hallucinating. The boy said that he still says that he saw, like, the boy insisted that he saw the beastie, and he said it came and went away again and came back, and it will came back and wanted to eat him. Like, the boy said that one, like, you know, the snake saw him and it came and went away, and he said that the snake would come back in order to eat him. So what was the reaction? Like, he was dreaming. He said that no, it was not real, it was a dream. So was it a good reaction or not?
Good.
No, it was not. If you're a good leader, you should ask him where, what about its color, like where exactly, and how big is it? You see this one, but not like, no. He kept laughing and others were laughing. No, it was just a dream. You were just dreaming. Because he was young. He was young. And he kept saying that, no, like for sure not no, he said that he must have had, again, he insisted, like, you know, like he must have a nightmare, stumbling about among all these creepers. He said that maybe it's just a nightmare. Maybe you thought it was just like some kind of plants, creeping plants, and you thought it was an animal. So more grave nodding, they knew about nightmares. And so he says that the boy insisted, no, the Biggie said that he saw the beastie, the snake thing, and it will come back tonight. He said that he saw the snake, and the snake will come back tonight, at night. Again, Ralph said, there isn't a beastie, there's no snake. Again, he said, like he says, in the morning, it turned into them things like ropes in the trees and hung in the branches. He says, it will come back tonight. If you see here in this conversation, the boy insisted. He said, no, there are snakes, and there is a big snake, and it will come back again in the night. The boy kept saying that. And every time, Ralph replied, but there isn't a beastie. You see this conversation? Can you imagine it?
Yes.
Can you imagine it? Like, the boy keeps saying that, and Biggie said that, but he saw, like Ralph said, no, there isn't a beastie. Again, is it convincing?
No.
No, it's not convincing. So here, the reaction of Ralph was weak. At the beginning, he was laughing. Is that just a nightmare? But the boy insisted, no, he saw a beastie, like 4 times. No, he saw a beastie. And he kept like, you know, no, it was real. It wasn't a nightmare. No, it wasn't a dream. No, it wasn't a dream. It was a nightmare. No, it wasn't a nightmare. He kept, no, there isn't a beastie. So the reaction of Ralph wasn't strong enough. You can never say that I saw a beast. No, there isn't a beast. No, how could you convince me? I told you I saw one. So in that case, we have a very strong reaction of Jack, and Jack, like, you know, won this competition. In that point, Jack sees the conch. He said that Ralph's right, of course. There isn't a snake thing, but if there was a snake, we will hunt it and kill it. We're going to hunt